The weather's cooling down, but betting season is heating up thanks to the upcoming slate of tantalizing football, hockey, and basketball games. I've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook with an incredible offer for sports bettors. New customers turn $5 into $200 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. You can stay in the action and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings daily fantasy sports and have a shot to win cash prizes. So what are you waiting for? Sign up with DraftKings Sportsbook using our code Fireside Yankees to get started today. The crown is yours. The New York Yankees have a plan that seems to be put in place, according to Jon Heyman of the New York Post. Today, we're going to break that down right here on Fireside Yankees. If you're watching this, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy tons of amazing food and time with family. Without further ado, let's just jump right into today's video, talking about Jon Heyman's reports from the last 24 hours regarding the Yankees and their offseason plans. So, the first thing he talked about was the Yankees are targeting Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger, obviously their top incumbent free agent, the starting left fielder for the Yankees throughout the 2025 season. He had an excellent 2025 campaign. He put up 4.9 wins above replacement on Fangraphs, 29 home runs. He had a 272 average, 334 on base, and a 480 slugging percentage. He was one of the best players in the American League this past year. He was the best left fielder in terms of wins above replacement this past year at 4.9, beating out guys like Wyatt Langford, Jarren Duran, and Steven Kwan. If you want to look at just the American League and position players in the American League, Cody Bellinger was a top 10 player in terms of wins above replacement, but the Yankees find themselves in an interesting position with him where the outfield market hasn't really materialized the way I think most people expected it to. There aren't a real wave of players who are interested in these players to the degree that you would expect. Cody Bellinger's suitors are naturally limited by his swing, which is very dependent on ballpark. You would not expect a team like the Red Sox, for example, to try and bring in a guy whose swing is hitting about 360-foot fly balls to right field when their right field is much deeper than that. If you look at a team like the Tigers, it's kind of a similar situation, despite maybe those two teams wanting to add some more pop to their lineup. The suitors that have been known for Bellinger, or teams that at least have been linked to him, include the Blue Jays, the Angels, the Dodgers, and the Mets. The Mets and Dodgers in the National League, those two teams seem to be more on the periphery with Bellinger. Angels, similar situation. The Blue Jays view it more as a backup plan if they don't get Kyle Tucker, but the Kyle Tucker rumors for the Blue Jays have kind of died down in the last 12 hours. Reports have come out that Kyle Tucker's name isn't really that loud in that organization, according to the Athletic, so I do wonder if that means Bellinger is off the table for them as well. It just kind of feels like the Yankees are by far and away the biggest suitors for Bellinger. I would view the Phillies as a logical fit, but there hasn't been a credible link to the Phillies having known interest in Bellinger just yet, so maybe that's just a matter of time will tell. Maybe the winter meetings, we'll see that pick up a little bit, but it'll certainly be interesting to see how the Bellinger market navigates, because again, it doesn't feel like there are a clear SWAT of suitors that are looking to threaten and in a sense kind of take away Bellinger from the Yankees. It sort of feels like the Yankees would be bidding against themselves in this kind of scenario, but time again will tell with that. As we look at the rest of these rumors, the next one, that the Yankees are eyeing Tatsuya Imai. For those who saw the Athletic article by Brendan Cuddy earlier in the week, he mentioned that the Yankees will earnestly pursue Imai. Earnestly means with conviction. Imai had a 1.92 ERA this year, a 27.8% strikeout rate, a 48% ground ball rate. I mentioned numerous times here on Fireside Yankees that the Yankees have very serious interest in Imai and want to bring him in. I mentioned in a live stream earlier this week, he is one of their top priorities, if not their top priority, in terms of guys who I expect them to make real deal pursuits for. Bellinger and Tucker just kind of split the vote almost a little. I'm not really sure where they're leaning there, with Tucker's market kind of deteriorating. We'll talk about that in a little bit to close the show, but Tatsuya Imai is a big swing and miss pitcher. He had the highest average fastball velocity in the Japanese Nippon Baseball League at 95.5 miles per hour. He had the highest swinging strike rate and whiff rates. No one misses bats on a per rate basis better than Imai does among starting pitchers in the NPB. His stuff is very good. He's got a nasty wrong way slider. We've talked about him ad nauseum, but I do believe that the New York Yankees are a team that are going to be serious players for him. I think that Dylan Dylan Cease deal might take the Blue Jays out of the bidding for Imai. Maybe they go out and still get him, but I don't think that's a top priority for them at this point. The Giants, I know, are very aggressive on the pitching market, or at least that's what public reports have suggested, and Tatsuya Imai is going to be a big target for them, again, based on public reporting, based on fit, based on needs. Tatsuya Imai may want to prioritize a contender, and that could help the Yankees in contrast to the Giants, who have not really contended in the last few years and have struggled to be more than just a 500 team. The Yankees have consistently made the postseason, and Imai could come over to the United States and play with the Yankees and think, I'm the missing piece. I'm going to take this team that's gotten close but hasn't gotten the job done in the World Series and go take them to a World Series and help them win it. And obviously the quotes about him wanting to beat the Dodgers and win a World Series championship, I don't want fans to take that too literally. I don't think that means he wants to play the Dodgers as much as possible. I just think he was saying that he does not want to join them. He'd rather beat them. Now, if the Dodgers came out with the best offer, I'm sure he would sign the Dodgers and walk those words right back, but I don't think the Dodgers are going to have much interest in bringing in Tatsuya Imai, given how deep and how much money is already invested in their starting rotation, and I don't believe Imai is the kind of guy that you make a really insane financial investment for in a unit you've already paid a lot of money to. If this was Tarek Skubal, if this was Paul Skeens, different conversation. You just kind of make that work. You move guys around. You do what you have to do. But I don't view Imai as this like game-changing starting pitcher like a Yamamoto. I view him as a good number 2, maybe number 3 starting pitcher on a World Series contender if he goes to the right organization. So it's both. He's a good pitcher, and also do not look at him as a Yamamoto type. Look at him as more of a better than Senga, but closer to Senga than Yamamoto. So Imai, really good pitcher. I like what he can become. Time will tell if he develops into that kind of pitcher. Time will tell if he ends up being a Yankee in the first place. So we'll see with that, but the Yankees are pursuing him. They're eyeing him. Whatever word, whatever verb you want to use to describe what the Yankees are doing in that market, they're in. They want the player. They're one of the biggest favorites in that sweepstakes, and they're one of the biggest players in that market right now. Let's close this show talking about Kyle Tucker, who, according to John Heyman, is the Yankees' backup plan to Cody Bellinger. Now, a lot of people are going to immediately point out the connections between John Heyman and Scott Boras and say this is a, you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt because of that. You can argue that. I wouldn't argue against it, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's 100% the case here. What I do know is that for the New York Yankees, their view of Kyle Tucker is something that was dependent on price. I do not believe that the New York Yankees want to pay Kyle Tucker $400 million, but I do believe that the New York Yankees are a team that if the money is relatively close to Bellinger in terms of annual average salary, that they would want to bring the player back or bring the player in place of Bellinger, because everyone's aware of the fact that Kyle Tucker's a better player. John Heyman might look at it as Bellinger's a better player. No, Tucker's a better player. Tucker is the guy that is the top of the market player across the industry. He's the top of the market player. Some teams might pursue or might prefer Bellinger because of lower cost and he can play some center field, but those things should not matter to the Yankees. The lower cost aspect, you're the Yankees. It depends on how big that gap is in annual average salary, but if it's not a 12, 13, 14, $15 million gap in annual average salary, I don't think it should deter the Yankees. And in terms of center field, the Yankees no longer need a center fielder. They have one. That was the need going into the offseason, and it seemed apparent that Bellinger would get about $27, $28 million, and Tucker about $40, $41, $42 million. So that AAV gap, the outfield needs for the Yankees, those things would have justified not getting Tucker before. Now those aren't really two truths as things stand in this market. So with Kyle Tucker, the Yankees reportedly checked in on him. That's according to John Heyman. I've heard some rumblings that they're going to meet with him. That is something I'm not really sure of. I can't really speak to that beyond just kind of some early rumblings, some like rumor mill stuff, but time will tell with the Yankees and whether they end up actually going after Kyle Tucker or not. To say on the same note with Cody Bellinger, time will tell if the Yankees are actually going to really like hard pursue Bellinger and view him as must bring him back, number one priority, the guy who's got to come back. Even when Cashman talks about it, it's very much, we want to go get Cody Bellinger or Kyle Tucker. We want to get Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger. Yeah, we're talking to Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger. Those are two guys who could help us in the outfield. So, I don't view the Yankees as the favorites for Tucker. I don't know who I would even consider the favorites for Tucker. Tucker's market is just a giant question mark, but I do view them as the favorites for Bellinger. I think they're clearly the team that has the most stake in that claim. But with Kyle Tucker, and again, I mentioned with the Blue Jays not really being that in. The verbatim quote, the name Kyle Tucker has not really that loud inside the Blue Jays organization. That is essentially what was said by Mitch Bannon of The Athletic. Not really sure who's really in. The Mets, not sure they're really that in on Tucker. Phillies, not sure they're really in on Tucker. Dodgers, not really sure. I know the Orioles have some rumored interest. That could be a thing. But I think for the Yankees, you look at Kyle Tucker, this could be an opportunistic situation. We heard Hal Steinbrenner talk about the payroll and payroll ranges and saying the Yankees are essentially going to be opportunistic with this. If the right thing falls into Brian Cashman's lap, he can take it to Hal and see what happens from there. We'll see the validity of that claim, whether that's true, whether that's not true, and we'll get to see if Kyle Tucker ends up signing with the Yankees or not, or if it ends up being Cody Bellinger instead. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you like and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Again, have a very happy Thanksgiving. We really appreciate you taking some time, whether you're listening here on Thanksgiving or the day after. We greatly appreciate your support. Hope you have a great rest of your holiday weekend and a great day tonight or this afternoon. Us Dominicans, we eat at night, so if you're a lunch or night time, or I guess dinner time, Thanksgiving family, let me know in the comment section below. Our family, we do dinner. Do you do lunch or dinner? Again, let us know in the comment section below. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out.
Perfect.